Hey guys, and welcome again to another episode on Facebook, answering some of your frequently asked questions. We are all about speaking to beginner and supporting people through the club, through their journey and getting results. So look, food, we discussed it last week, what to eat, when to eat and so forth. But today, let's say you've started at the club, you've started feeling great, but you're not seeing the change. First things first is this. I want to bring up a couple of points here. When you get started at the gym, you're going to have a plan to get your body moving. You're going to be exploring things that work for you, perhaps get some coaching and so on. And that's a process to get through and get comfortable with what you're doing. Super important. To understand by doing that, you're putting your mind at ease. You're achieving the goal of getting into the gym, doing what you wish to do. And putting that at ease because you've been obviously thinking about it for some time. So that's going to make you feel good. Exercise is going to have you feel good. It's going to give you energy. It's going to increase your well-being and your vitality. But if you want to look good, that exercise has to start to progress and has to start moving forward. I'll ask you this. Do you think athletes, football players, Patrick Dangerfield and so forth, when they were younger, looked good? I think so. Lean, strong. I bet you they looked really good. I reckon also they probably, besides him and I suppose the elite, didn't focus on fantastic nutrition techniques until they come up to the big leagues. And they still probably look good. Not as good as what they do now, but they still probably look good. And the point is this. There's a pendulum. And at the beginning, we're wanting to exercise at, I suppose, lower intensities to ease into it, to find our way and make sure we're comfortable with that. And because of that, we should really focus, I suppose, on eating better for the looking good. When you start to train at higher intensities and you start working a little bit more often and all of those things, then you've got more room to move with food because you're using more energy. It's as simple as that. So my point is this. If you're wanting to look good and you get into the gym, then diet is a must when you start out. Again, if you're just there to feel good and you don't want to make massive changes in nutrition, that's cool as well. But I'm talking to that person that says, man, I want to drop a dress size. It's time for me to change. I've got an anniversary coming up, or I've got a wedding dress to get into, or whatever the thing is. And here's some things that will make a difference. Time and time again, they have. So I'm going to give you a few tips now, and these are our go-to methods. Firstly, let's talk a little bit about fasting. If you haven't heard of intermittent fasting, look into Precision Nutrition. They have some really good write-ups on it. But I like fasting and specifically juicing first thing in the morning, where you can basically, I mentioned last week, there's 2 times that you need to get nutrients into your body. That is super important. One, hey guys, welcome along. One, straight after training, your body's got thirsty for nutrients to replenish what you've used. And 2, when you wake up in the morning. But if we wake up in the morning, we've also been fasting for X amount of time. So hopefully 8 hours, 9 hours, you've been 10 hours, you haven't eaten. Great. So for us to prolong that and keep that fasting going, which just makes us regulate blood sugars a little bit better. And just keep in mind, if our blood sugar levels are high, then fat burning basically goes on hold. So that's important to understand, that if we keep our sugar levels up constantly, our body just draws on them because it's our preferred source of energy and it's readily available in the blood. So the body just pulls those in. So in the morning, if we could just prolong and perhaps just withhold from food for a little bit, that can certainly kickstart that fat burning process. But it's not for everybody. And this is for those that want to drop weight. That's what I'm talking about here. Not necessarily build muscle, but get leaner. So what we could do is we could start by trying utilizing green juice. And for those at the club, we have our mean green juice. It's all on our website. Please go to ultimatebodyblitz.com.au. You all have access. We give that free to all members, and there is heaps. So mean green juice, real simple. My ninja's over there sitting in my kitchen next to me. I put in apple, lemon, ginger, spinach, bit of celery. Job done, get it in there, and it certainly cleans out the system and reduces your toxicity. So this is number 2. By fasting and giving yourself vegetables first thing in the morning, it really detoxifies the system because your liver never stops. So this whole detoxification 14-day process, if you do that correctly, every day your body is cleansing itself. And the time that it does that is when there's no food getting ingested and you're putting lots of fluid into the body after sleep. Get up in the morning, have a couple of glasses of water. Best thing you can do upon rising, give yourself a juice, and you're going to be aiding in that detoxification process. But at the same time, that's also giving you essential whole foods and nutrients first thing in the morning, which is a great thing for your day. So try that, guys. That's a really good thing that you can be doing to start off. The third thing that does for you is it also gets you used to when you're hungry. So you start to learn a little bit more about if you don't eat, and there are some processes here, guys. There's many diets out there that utilize fasting. There's 3 common ones. I'm talking about not eating for 12 to 14 hours, and then only eating for 8 to 10 hours in that block, i.e. from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock or from 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock is when you start ingesting food and sort of fasting outside of that. And it teaches you when you're actually hungry, and that's a really good thing because often we eat when we're bored, and by doing this, you just recognize, am I hungry for hunger's sake or am I hungry because I'm bored? And then if that's the case, let's try to find a different behavior or get out of whatever's stimulating that hunger at that time. It could be sitting down at a night time when you're used to snacking in front of a TV. Maybe change up the behavior, read a book for 10 minutes, do the washing for 5. Just break that behavior to get away from going to the cupboard, looking around because you're bored. So there's a good tip to start you with. Next, make sure, and I went through it last week, really simple. Ladies, 1 palm of protein. That's how much protein you'd have. So let's say at 10 o'clock, you might go with 3 eggs, okay? That's 3 whole eggs. Guys, don't be fooled. The nutrients and the satisfaction you get from the fat, the yolk, okay, that's satietizing, which means it makes you fuller for longer. You'll be able to get a lot more of that and a lot higher protein from those 3 eggs. That's about 30 grams of protein and includes all of your fat. So 3 eggs, for example, at that time with a heap of veggies in a scrambled egg mixture will be so full of nutrients, giving your body and your brain a great kickstart, and it keeps you fuller for longer. Guys, I'm 90 kilos and 3 eggs, 3 mushrooms, a tomato, a little bit of spring onion. I'll have that as well as my juice and a coffee at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. I'll train 9 people and I don't eat to 12:30, and at that time I can withhold that. I don't need to snack in that time. So that really keeps me full for long periods of time, and it's a great way of going about it. So we want to get that amount of protein, like I suggested, and that could be, at 2 o'clock at your next meal. That could be a chicken breast, for example, with 2 thumbs of fat. So in the egg meal, we talked about yolks. In this case, it could be avocado. Now that might be a slither, like what's that? A 1/6 of an avocado, depending on your size of your avocado. Of course, if it's a large green or a small one, but look at your thumb, make it the same. Simple. And then that could be how many almonds. Fantastic. That amount, 10, 12. Look at your thumb, draw it out. Simple as that. And then at that meal, you could give yourself, again, 2 fists of veggies. So if we're doing this, that's tip 2, measure out by your hand size and make sure you incorporate the amount of time I hear people say, I eat well, but I'm not dropping body fat. I eat well. It's amazing how many people love to tell me how they eat really well. But then when we go through this, they don't give themselves the fats. They don't have anywhere near enough vegetable. And again, with the veggies, choose whatever you like to eat. That's fine. And then when they do that, they just feel fuller for a little bit longer. And it could be the difference between 1 and 2 hours, which is the difference between, an extra meal a day that they're having or binging out. And that's the difference. Like, that's huge. Think about that. An extra meal of 500 calories a day, that's 3,500 calories. That's 1 pound a week. Over, a kilo is 7,700 calories. So if you're having an extra 500 calorie meal a day, that's 3,500 calories. That's 1 pound a week. That's 1 kilo a fortnight. That's 1 kilo a fortnight. That's 26 kilos a year, guys, from one thing. It doesn't have to be massive. Keep it simple. Food is fuel. Now, my point number 3, real quick, if you were to ask me, and I know there'd be many others alike, and certainly trainers, because we like to justify our food habits outside of our exercise. It's real simple. Eat raw, organic as often as you can. And the foods I just suggested are a good example. So raw, organic, and in season. Guys, if you're going to the shopping mall up the road and it's the middle of summer and you're getting apples, question that. If you're getting figs on a Tuesday night in the middle of August, you might want to question that. This is a summer fruit. I'm saying don't eliminate it. And if you go to someone's house and they serve it up, look, don't be a dork. You don't have to go that far. And that's okay. If that's your decision and you're doing it for 12 weeks, that's different. But you should be able to give yourself a little bit of flexibility if you're doing things like I've suggested to you most of the time. That's 80%. There's always, I hope you've heard of the 80-20 rule. And that is 80% of the time, stick to a plan, stick to your program, stick to your processes, do the things that you wish that work for you 80% of the time. 20%, give yourself some freedom. This way, you will be able to keep yourself in better shape for 80% of the time. So if you are an exerciser and working out, you just keeping yourself in good possible shape, being out of your best shape, being out of your best shape by 6 to 8 weeks is a really, really good goal, I think, for exercisers. For others, these are the habits that exercisers use. So if you're not in shape, that keep them in a well-maintained shape. So like I mentioned, having a ritual around your breakfast is super important, and it doesn't have to be every day. You can try fasting. A really good thing is doing that on your days where you don't exercise, or if you allow yourself a cheat meal the next morning. Don't have, it's a Saturday night and you have, I don't know, pizza and a bottle of wine and go live. The next morning, it makes sense. Just reduce that amount of food that you're eating that day. Much better idea. And if you are going out and you are going to be going live on a Saturday night, then maybe do that on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So point 4, it's about rituals and habits. If you know you've got a big night out, then work towards it. What we know is your body's going to use more sugars and more fats if you do some higher intense training. So whether that's 20 minutes of HIIT work or a strength training session, that is going to be a great way for you to get ready before you go out. So let's say you're going out for a lunch, an afternoon, the footy's coming up, so it's grand final day. Get in, do a session on Saturday morning and get on with it. You'll feel good about it, and your body's going to be processing the foods and certainly the alcohol far quicker by boosting your metabolism. So that's a healthy habit. And this is the stuff that exercisers do, which for those that are getting started are just some small things that equal big change. So there's some really good, helpful tips there, guys. We discussed eating raw, natural, organic as much as you can, but don't be a dork. Go with the 80-20 rule. You don't have to say no to everything. You just try to get a habit. Although if you are going for a competition or you're trying to get in best shape or whatever it is, 4 weeks and you're got your wedding, then okay, say no. But if you find yourself saying no all the time, are you happy? And if you are, cool. Next. We discussed our fists and how to use them within our food. And the next thing was that is if you're giving yourself a palmful of protein, 2 thumbs of fat, 2 fists of veggies, when are you hungry again? That's when you should eat. I'll say that again. If you give yourself this wholesome food, you eat next when you are hungry. Okay? Very, very, very important. No worries, Darren. Cheers for listening in. So that's a really important point, because people say, they don't know when they're ready to eat. They don't know how often they should eat. Well, if you're eating the right food, your body will tell you. The next thing that I'd like to mention here is, I suppose, with nutrition, again, is how important preparation is. I'm going to leave it with this one, guys. 15 minutes, make it short and sharp, but preparation is. So, again, having rituals. Our ritual, and I'm lucky enough, my lovely wife knows it's important to me, and I finish fairly late, so she's great in arranging meals for the next day. So I will generally, for example, have tomorrow, tonight, I believe we're having fish, hopefully, honey. I think she's just joined in. And I'll have fish again tomorrow. So tomorrow, for example, for me, and I'm just going to give you my experience because that's all I've got to give, and then you can take or leave as you wish. I get up tomorrow morning at 5:30. I'm moving in the morning as I take about 2 hours of training after opening the gym. So I'm exercising and using energy. So that's one day where I allow myself to have some carbohydrates. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to have basically a cup of oats, cinnamon, a little bit of honey, some berries, and some organic yogurt. I can show you in the fridge, Paris Creek Organic Natural. So that's how I start my day tomorrow. Now I'm going to have that at about 5:30 in the morning. I exercise with my clients, so I'm up and active. I'm not working out, but I'm not sitting down like I am now. So I'm using those sugars, which is super important. And then at around about 8:30, I'll have that scrambled egg meal that I just told you about. I'll probably add some avocado in, as I just mentioned. So that's going to work for me at that time. Now, I'll then be training and busy with people to around about 11:30, 12, and that's probably where I'll have probably a shake, because I'm going to be on the run, not going to get a full meal, and I'm going to be exercising with someone at 1 o'clock. So I haven't eaten for 4.5 hours, and I'm about to exercise. So I'll bang in a shake just to keep my protein up at that time, and then I'm going to be exercising at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So after about 8 hours, I'll have had literally only 2 meals and a protein shake. And that's how I'll get through that. Then obviously after that, I'll eat something higher in carbohydrate and protein, which will be our leftover. She's just posted squid. So I reckon there'll probably be some sweet potato or pumpkin. It's probably basic tonight, I reckon. Squid in like a tomato Italian style sauce with some salad and either rice or potato, I hope. So that would be a great feed for me in tomorrow afternoon. Now the point is this, I'm having that tonight. I've got a meal tomorrow. If that's not enough and I need more, then I'll have nuts. Guys, have you got tins of tuna or sardines? Sardines are arguably the best protein fat snack you could have. It's just the quality you're after. I believe tuna here, often people go for the yellow tins without naming names, and they're very, very high in oil. It's not extra virgin olive oil, and we're after the antioxidant value from extra virgin olive oil. So I don't have one on me because they're at the gym. Solmar, S-O-L-M-A-R-E, is extra virgin olive oil, and it's quality tuna. It's also yellowfin tuna, very much like Doro. They offer you yellowfin tuna rather than the others, which often are bonito and skipjack tuna. Not the same taste, not the same quality. So please keep that in mind. So that's a great snack. Some almonds, very, very good. And they're the sort of things that, there's some little things there. You don't have to like that, and that's cool. But the point is, there's some habits around nutrition. The eating like that is fueling my body for how I want to feel, and I'm quite active. So that works for me. If you can take something away from that, it's creating those rituals around your exercise and just being prepared. I explained how I'm prepared today. I am a foodie, by the way. It's 12:20 on Wednesday, so I'm already thinking about food on the weekend, but that's just me. And the point is this. Having a plan, allowing yourself to work within that plan 80-20, but not going on the fly. So ask yourself now, do you know what you're having for dinner? If not, jump onto ultimatebodyblitz.com.au and grab yourself a meal. It's simple, okay? Have things if you don't have something, at the gym we now offer core power foods. Now that's a great way to get 40 grams of protein in. So if you've got some of those in your freezer, if you've got something we have in our freezer is often fish broth, or now we're using meat broth. We often have that. You can add that in to make a quick soup. You can add fish. We love making fish soup, or a goulash or something along those lines, by having some flavor, which essentially is no different than a beef stock. It's just far better for you, and organic, natural. So if you've got some casserole, if you've got a stew, if you've used your slow cooker, and we've got heaps of articles on this, guys. If you put this into your freezer, and you've always got ready-made meals that are healthy for you, that takes the guesswork out. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty busy, and I reckon you are too. I reckon probably some of you even got kids, and you look after them all day, and you work, and you got a high intense husband or partner like me, who's just, and the house is full on. So one thing you want to do is not leave your nutrition, your health up to chance. Put in some simple things that make a big difference, and preparing yourself with nutrition is really, really easy. And I'm just going to show you this. It's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but let's say it does. And it could be your nutrition for the week. Often people think it's too hard. So number 5 on preparation, I've done this within Ultimate Body Blitz, is if you know make Monday fish night, make Tuesday meat night, steak night, make Wednesday veggie night. So that could be utilizing chickpeas and lentils, mushrooms, and using higher protein vegetables, quinoa. And there's plenty that you can do there. Making a stew again with a bone broth, beautiful, with chickpeas and a bone broth stew. There's some stuff you can look up online, guys. Paleo hacks have heaps and heaps of recipes under that. So that could be Wednesday. Now, do that for a month, or do it until you're bored. People try to change things up all the time. I know tonight's fish night because it's Wednesday. What we'll have tonight is probably the same as what we had last week, although my wife jumped on and said today we're having stuffed squid with potatoes and sweet potato and salad. Now, we'd have that maybe once every 2-3 weeks. Lucky us. So every other time outside that, it would have simply been whiting with a lemon dill sauce, potatoes and salad on Wednesday. That's what we do. It's simple as that. No guesswork required. If I start getting sick of that, then we go, or next month for the following 4 weeks, do another meal. And then if you do that month by month, Wednesday's fish, Thursday's beef, Friday's chicken, Saturdays as you go, and give yourself a bit of flexibility there, then you've got, we're creatures of habit. If you do a 9-to-5 job, then plan your 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. Give yourself a bit of room on the weekend, okay, but still eat healthily. I want to say that again. We're creatures of habit. So if you're busy in those times, you don't want to think about food, plan your food. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And then give yourself some leeway on the weekend. I mean, that's what we do, isn't it? We're busy during the week, working, doing what we do. Comes to the weekend and we, go out and then we balance it out during the week. Do the same thing with nutrition, guys. It's much better than living on the fly, putting poor food into your system, not fueling yourself for what you want to do, giving yourself sugars and then sitting on your bum. You don't need to do that during the week, guys. You do that because often it's just a habit, or you're not prepared, or you're in a meeting and they serve it up. Well, man, we're not dogs. We don't need special treats for sitting down and behaving yourself. So fill yourself up, guys. Feel the way you want to feel. Keep it simple. Go live. Have a great week. Please post. I appreciate it. Like the video. Send them to your friends. If you've got a question, give it to me. Give me something to talk about rather than ranting on nutrition. Thanks, team.